Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is the complete Indiana Jones recap before Dial of Destiny. It all began with Raiders of the Lost Ark. Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones, an archaeologist adventurer who explores ancient ruins looking for lost historical artifacts. Naturally, these ancient ruins are filled with deadly traps, but Indiana Jones knows how to handle them. So as he goes to grab the golden idol, he uses the bag of sand to offset the weight. But he didn't get it quite right. It sets off the trap, and yes, it's the classic running from the boulder scene. Indiana has a day job. He's Dr. Jones, professor of archaeology, but today the government tracks him down because they just learned the Nazis are hunting for the lost Ark of the Covenant. Yes, according to legend, it can unleash the wrath of God to smite your enemies, but Dr. Jones doesn't believe in that magic. That's just a bunch of mumbo-jumbo. But still they hire him to track down the Ark before the Nazis do, and it's the classic plane over the map traveling montage. His first stop is to visit Marion, daughter of his mentor Dr. Ravenwood, who has the medallion that would reveal the Ark's location. But she's an old flame of Indy's, and they did not part on the best of terms. But the Nazis are hot on their trail, and it's a big fight where the bar burns down, and the Nazi grabs the medallion, but ouch, it's hot! So they travel to Egypt and meet up with Indy's friend Salah, but the bad guys are here too. It turns into a street fight, and Indiana Jones's weapon of choice is his classic whip, which is great for, jumping over pits and stuff. But when he's faced with a really tough fight, he does carry a gun on him. It makes it a lot easier. Now the Nazis have started digging for the Ark because the one guy got the map burned on his hand, but they're digging in the wrong place because some of the directions were on the other side. So Indy goes to the map room where the light of the sun shines through the crystal and points to the right location. Now Indiana Jones is not afraid of any of the creepy crawlies that infest these dungeons, except the one infesting this one, snakes. Why'd it have to be snakes? But now he's found the Ark. Unfortunately, the Nazis noticed him digging over here and take the Ark and seal him and Marion inside. But naturally, Indy escapes immediately, goes to fight the big guy who's kicking his butt until he doesn't notice the plane propeller. Oh! But now the bad guys are getting away, so Indy's gotta ride a horse up there and jump on the truck, then hang on for dear life. Eventually, the Ark makes it to a submarine, but Indiana Jones just jumps on the sub. They stop at an island to test the Ark. Indy and Marion gonna be the sacrifice, but Dr. Jones has done his research. He knows you gotta keep your eyes shut, don't look at it. And so as the wrath of God smites these Nazis, including the super disgusting face-melting scene, Indy and Marion keep their eyes closed and the day is saved. Dr. Jones' motto is it belongs in a museum, but the government has other ideas. Lock it away in their warehouse where it's lost forever. Next up is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Indiana Jones is pretending to be James Bond as he's making a deal with some gangsters for some artifact, but the deal goes bad. Indiana escapes along with the lounge singer Willie, and his getaway driver is his new sidekick, the adorable Short Round. He jumps on a plane that is owned by the bad guy, so the pilots bail on him, leave him to crash. So Indy and friends float out of there on the inflatable life raft and manage to survive. They end up at an Indian village that is cursed now because the bad guys stole their sacred Shiva stone. Dr. Jones doesn't believe in magic, that's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo, but still he goes to get it back for them, taking Willie with him even though she hates nature. Now turns out the Temple of Doom is a pretty nice place, except the dinner is pretty disgusting. Pretty soon Indy finds the secret passage, which leads to just a ton of bugs, and also the deadly spike ceiling trap, but they manage to get out just in time, and famously Indy grabs his hat. Yeah, you thought that scene happened at the beginning of Raiders, it was actually his whip he grabbed then. So now they make it to the real Temple of Doom, and they got a priest who's pulling people still beating hearts out, lowering them into the pit of lava. This a good Temple of Doom. Pretty soon Indy's captured, they make him drink the brainwash juice and then make him take his shirt off. But it's Short Round to the rescue, unbrainwashes Indy, and now they gotta escape. There's a creepy kid with a voodoo doll, oh no, but Short Round beats him too. He's really the MVP in this movie. Indy fights a big guy who's kicking his butt until he doesn't see the giant steamroller thing, ouch. So it's a big escape, he's gotta leap into the minecart, then hold on for dear life. But at the end on the rope bridge, he's still surrounded, and so he's got to, cut the bridge. But now the bad guy's here, gonna rip out Indy's heart, but though he has the mystical powers, Indiana Jones has the better upper body strength. And by the way, they got the magic stones, and Dr. Jones has done his research, says the incantation that makes him real hot for the bad guy, but totally fine for the pure of heart, and he falls down and is eaten by crocodiles. So Indiana Jones has saved the village, and he and Willie get it on. Number 3 is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It starts with a flashback to young Indiana Jones, where he gets on a circus train, and he finds a whip and then finds a hat. In the present, Indiana's approached by a wealthy collector who's found half a tablet leading to the Holy Grail. Yes, the legendary cup of Jesus that will give its drinker eternal life. Of course, Dr. Jones doesn't believe in magic, that's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo. But the previous archaeologist working on this was Indiana's father, who's now gone missing, so Indy takes the case. He flies to Venice and teams up with the sexy historian, Dr. Elsa Schneider. They find the tomb of the ancient Templar who has the other half the tablet, but now Borat catches up to him and tries to smoke him out. It turns into a big boat chase where Indy almost kills this guy with a propeller again, but turns out Borat's a good guy who's here to protect the Grail and decided Indy's okay. So now they have to rescue Indy's father, and guess who's got him? Yep, the Nazis. And turns out Indy's father is Sean Connery, who's a much more normal, bookish archaeologist compared to Indiana, the action hero. But now they're betrayed. Dr. Schneider was a Nazi all along, and Indiana and his father realize they both slept with her. And so as father and son work together to escape, it's classic father-son shenanigans. And it's a lengthy escape from Germany as they steal a motorcycle, then book passage on a blimp, then hijack a plane, then commandeer a car. And in the end, Dr. Jones Sr. saves the day with his umbrella. In the Middle East, they meet up with Salah, but the Nazis are here too, and they've brought a tank. So Indiana Jones has to leap onto a tank, then hold on for dear life. Then he fights a big guy who's kicking his butt until he doesn't notice the cliff. Oh! Now the Grail is guarded by deadly traps, so the bad guys shoot Indy's father to make him go first and get the Grail and save him. Indy's dad's notebook has clues on how to get by the traps. The first one is the penitent man will pass, which Indy realizes at the last moment means you gotta kneel down. Next one, you gotta only step on the tiles that spell the name of God, but Indy forgot Jehovah was spelled different in the original Latin. And last, you gotta take the leap of faith, so Indy, steps into the abyss, but it was a bridge that was just camouflaged. So Indy makes it to the inner sanctum where the immortal Templar is still guarding the Grail. The bad guys have followed him here, but there's one last puzzle. You gotta choose the correct chalice. Dr. Schneider's like, yo bro, this is the one, so bad dude's chugging for eternal life. But what's this? Elsa switched sides, and the bad guy gets sold real quick. Dr. Jones has done his research. The real Grail wouldn't be some ornate gold chalice, it would be the modest cup of a carpenter. So he gives his dad a little sip, just enough to heal his bullet wound, not make him immortal. But Elsa's not a good guy now, she just wants the Grail for herself, and she didn't listen to the Templar's warning, you can't take it out of the temple. And so the Holy Grail is lost, even more than it was before. And in the final scene, we learn Indiana Jones's real name is Henry Jones Jr. Indiana was their dog's name. Then 20 years later, it's Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Yes, old Indiana Jones is back for one last ride. Well, until this next one last ride. It's the 50s now, no more Nazis, the bad guys are the Cold War Russians. They kidnap Indiana to help them find something in the warehouse where the Ark was hid. But it's not the Lost Ark they're after, it's a mysterious other box. But Indiana Jones always manages to escape. He takes shelter in a nearby town, but wait, it's weird, it's all full of mannequins. Yes, that's right, it's an atomic bomb testing site, and the countdown's coming right now, so Indiana hides in the refrigerator. Boom! Nuclear bomb blows the fridge clean out of there, and Indiana miraculously survives. Now who's this rolling in? It's Shia LaBeouf as a 50s greaser named Mutt. His stepdad was an old friend of Indiana's that went missing looking for El Dorado and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which might be ancient aliens. But Dr. Jones doesn't believe in aliens, that's just a bunch of mumbo-jumbo. But still, Indy agrees to help, and they fly to South America, where he and Mutt do some classic dungeoneering. They find the tomb of the ancient conquistador, who does have the Crystal Skull, which sure looks like an alien. But now the Russians take them captive, and they have another hostage. Yes, it's Marion, Indy's original flame. But turns out she is Mutt's mom, and after doing the math, yeah, Mutt's Indy's son. So it's a big family escape, as Indiana Jones has to jump from one truck to the next, then hold on for dear life. Mutt, meanwhile, is having a sword fight with the Russian scientist. Then Indiana fights a big guy who's kicking his butt until he doesn't notice the giant man-eating ants. So, long story short, they make it to El Dorado, which, yes indeed, built by aliens. The Russian scientist is going to put the skull back because whoever puts it back gets the treasure. But Dr. Jones has done his research. The treasure's not gold, it's infinite knowledge, which turns out the human brain cannot handle. As the temple's crashing down, our crew bails out of there and watches as the alien interdimensional spaceship pieces out. So as Indy and Marion rekindle their romance and finally get married, Shia LaBeouf is set up to take over the franchise as Indiana Jones Jr. But this movie kind of flopped, so that didn't end up happening. And now, 15 years later, Indiana Jones is coming back for one last adventure, again, in the Dial of Destiny. If you liked this recap, hit that subscribe button for more of the best recaps of TV and movies.